However, Ivan has told the club he wants to continue coaching for another few years at least. Panthers Group Chief Executive Brian Fletcher is negotiating the respective new deals after the board agreed that it was in the best interest of the club to tie down the pair long-term. "Why wouldn't we want them both at the club long-term?" Fletcher told the Herald when asked about negotiations. "The board is unanimous in keeping them as a pair as long as we possibly can. They are a huge part of Panthers, and we're doing what we can to make sure that continues. There's not much more I can say." Nathan is on track to finish his career as Penrith's greatest all-time player. After just 120 NRL games, Nathan has notched up 1040 points in his career, sitting third behind Greg Alexander and Ryan Girdler. The new deal will also see him go close to becoming the most capped Panther in club history, on track to chase down Steve Carter's 248 games played between 1988 and 1999, and perhaps become the first 300-game player for the club since its inception in 1967. The Panthers will knock down their stadium at the end of the season, and you could make the case that one of the new stands at the 30,000-seat venue that opens in 2025 could be named after the Clearys if they continue what they have built together in just 3 years. The Panthers took a huge leap of faith in Cleary when former chairman Dave O'Neill handed the coach a 5-year, $5 million deal to defect from the West's Tigers. He has more than returned the faith shown in him. Souths fume over Smith mocking Latrell. Revelations of Brandon Smith seemingly mocking Latrell Mitchell after Thursday night's Golden Point thriller have left a sour taste in the mouth of quite a few at South Sydney. The Rabbitohs are privately disappointed with the treatment of Mitchell by the injured Storm forward after especially given Mitchell was so vocal in ensuring the Rabbitohs remained on the ground for the post-match presentation, as a mark of respect for Craig Bellamy in his 500th NRL game as coach. South Sydney believe that Brandon Smith was mocking Latrell Mitchell after the game. Smith was caught on Nine's cameras mimicking Mitchell, who gestured to the Storm crowd that he could not hear them after slotting a 45-metre field goal in the dying minutes of the game to take it to extra time. Smith, who was in conversation with Cameron Munster and Ryan Papenhuisen at the time, was seen pulling a face and mimicking the same action Mitchell performed when he taunted the crowd. The incident took place while Mitchell was being interviewed by Nine's Danica Mason after full-time. Compounding South Sydney's disappointment was that the sledge came from someone who didn't even feature in the game due to injury. The bad blood between Mitchell and the Storm goes back to his heated confrontations with former Melbourne centre Will Chambers while playing for the Roosters. Loading in 2019, Mitchell also infuriated the Storm when he kicked the match-winning field goal for the Roosters in Golden Point at AAMI Park, only to run and celebrate right in front of the Storm bench some 30 metres away from where he kicked the one-pointer. Mark it down as a new chapter in the book of feuds for when Smith joins the Roosters next season. Munster unhappy at being bagged by Fox. Colleague Danny Widler reported in his Sun Herald column that Melbourne and Cameron Munster were furious with Fox Sports over a comedy skit about Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk on The Late Show with Matty Johns. Widler reported that Munster's manager Braith Anasta raised it with his bosses at Fox and the joke soon disappeared from all Fox platforms. But it's not the first time Fox Sports have upset the Storm over their treatment of Munster. In the pre-season, after reports surfaced that the Storm would move to extend the 5/8 contract, the Fox League social media account posted an image of Munster with the caption, "Cameron Munster is about to get a bag from the Melbourne Storm." The drug reference, which came a few months after he and Smith were embroiled in the hotel room white powder scandal, wasn't lost on those at the club, who aren't happy with the treatment from the host broadcaster. Titmus family still waiting for answers. The family of Manly forward Keith Titmus, who tragically at the end of 2020 after collapsing at training, are still waiting for answers. Almost 18 months after his tragic, the family haven't been told why their son never returned home. The state coroner wrote to the family before Christmas to inform them that the case was a priority. The family are still waiting to hear if there will be an inquest into the 20-year-olds. The family of former Manly NIL youngster Keith Titmus is grieving his mother Latho and dad Paul. James Brickwood, NIL photos unanimous club support for NSWIL investigation. South Sydney chairman Nick Pappas called a meeting of all the Sydney clubs on Friday afternoon, providing a platform for former NSWIL chairman George Pepinis and director Nick Politis to provide clarity around the events of the recent board elections that has led to the NIL calling for an investigation. It was interesting to note the statement the NSWIL sent out on Thursday, which was a detailed account of what had previously transpired, varied significantly to what others recalled being said in Friday's meeting. There was unanimous support from the 18 associated clubs for the NIL to get to the bottom of the fiasco, which some hope will take significant powers away from the NSWIL in the future.